get it. But then that was one of the times when she said pause, and she said, at this point we're talking about each character's outcome. Who are we talking about right now? And she went back to the student and said, Gabe, who are we talking about right now? And he said, tortoise.
Adam.
I noticed when the teacher gave feedback to the class, she started out with something positive. She said, I like that you're finding evidence, but who should the evidence include right now?
Bet.
I noticed that during the first student response, 7 out of 23 students tracked the speaker.
Rebecca.
So at one point, I noticed 4 out of 17 students tracking the student speaking, and at another point, 0 out of 17 students tracking the student speaking.
Renee.
I noticed a student in the very front doubled over for the predominant amount of that lesson.
John.
I kind of combined both of mine into one before. Sorry, I don't have another one.
Did I go over everybody? I got everybody. Great. ELPO. This is Leadership Prep Ocean Hill. It's in New York City. It's in Uncommon Schools. Uncommon School. I don't know if you ever heard the name Nikki Bridges. She's my fave. Love her. She used to be the principal there. She found me. So, ELPO writing lesson. Turn and talk. What do we notice?
2 to 3 seconds, or less than 2 to 3 seconds from activity to activity. Yep. So I noticed that students are sharing thoughts and answers with each other, such as doing turn-in talks at least 4 times during the 4-minute video. I noticed not.
Okay.
I noticed that her class was so engaged that sometimes she didn't even have to ask them for an answer. She would just say I'm over here, and they would automatically step over. One time they weren't all there, so she had them practice what do you have? Talk to your partner, talk to me, talk to your partner. Okay, and then they were back, and so she was able to get attention so quickly, which increased instructional time.
So how would you say what you noticed?
I noticed that I'm not being as a teacher. I noticed that the teacher
That's interesting, because in one of the turn-in talks, I noticed that she just sat by the document.
I noticed that she moved around
and wasn't listening to the girls.
and when she would do the turn and talk, she would always.
And see, I just picked up on that. You started off with something very positive.
This was she would always.
Did not think as positive. But yeah, I counted choral response 6 times, and I noticed that the choral response was typically repeat directions, they were low level responses.
Tracking her voice.
Yeah,
So I
that's very difficult.
Yeah. Comment?
Yeah, because and I'm also how am I gonna interpret this? Because I was on giving
Come
it
back
negative
together,
evidence.
agree?
I was definitely coding it positive or negative when I was writing it.
Sorry. Fran.
I noticed that when a student answered a question, they used the question to form a complete sentence in their answer. So one refers to.
John.
I noticed the use of call and response to check engagement, attention, and to recall certain routines and concepts.
Val.
I noticed that students were sharing thoughts and answers with each other, such as turn and talk, at least 4 times.
Kenny.
I noticed that the students had a clear understanding of tracking her voice and what it meant to track her voice.
Can you be more concrete with your evidence?
She had a moment where she said, track my voice, now track your partner. Track my voice, now track your partner, to make sure all students were tracking her voice and faces were directed towards her.
Thank you. Adam.
I noticed during one of the turn-in talks, the teacher just sat by the document camera.
Renee.
I noticed the teacher engaged in lots of big gesturing.
Steph.
I noticed that the teacher had a clear end cue for class discussion.
Shaquille.
I noticed that she asked students what strategy could they use in solving the problem.
Beth.
I noticed that she used the mini conference strategy to identify relevant responses for students who need the opportunity to speak out.
Rebecca.
I noticed students transitioning and 2 seconds or less.
Katie.
I noticed that she named 2 students who were doing great thinking, and I also noticed that she frequently referenced her clipboard, so it would like to reference key points.
Sarah.
I noticed that she provided 12 opportunities for whole class repetition.
Did everybody go? So I noticed that during her first turn and talk, she only checked in on one group. Awesome. Thank you.